Good day, my name is Mellor. I'm an attorney here in Riverside, California. I've got a number of clients, both construction related and others, dealing with the formation of business entities and contemplating whether they should form a corporate entity or a limited liability company. One of the first things I tell clients when they come to my office is that the formation depends on the type of business you're in. There are certain advantages to forming an LLC, for example, when you're holding real estate or purchasing real estate that are above those of a corporation. By the same token, in terms of attachment, if you're trying to avoid attachment of debts, an LLC might benefit you more because it's harder for a creditor to attach your membership shares and distributions in an LLC. They can only attach a distribution once made by an LLC, but the LLC obviously controls when they make the distribution, and if they don't, there's nothing to attach. Whereas a corporation has stock certificates that are issued, those can be attached and taken away from you. So if that's an issue you're dealing with, that might affect your choice in terms of formation. The next thing to look about, and I think probably the most important thing to look to, is the personal liability insulation that a corporate entity or a limited liability company entity provide for you. In this case, rather than a sole proprietorship, they can't come after you personally, so they can't go after your house or your cars or your bank accounts or anything like that. They're solely limited to the assets of the corporate entity, the business entity that you formed. So that's another protection by forming a business entity that should be a consideration. And then finally, each is taxed differently depending on whether you want a C corporation or an S corporation. With a C corporation, you're taxed twice. In other words, you have the corporation's income, that's taxed, and then you have the income flowing through the shareholders, that's taxed again, hence the double taxation. Whereas an S-corp is taxed like a partnership. You've got the income flowing through, distributed in terms of payments out for overhead and so forth, and then whatever flows through the shareholders is taxed on the K-1 form on their 1040. So that may be a consideration in terms of the type of corporation you want to form. Those are some considerations to think about. If you want to discuss it further, you have some particular issues you want to talk about, feel free to call my office and set an appointment. I'd be happy to speak with you over the phone or in person.